Welcome to the experiments. I have a special guest named Kitsy Higgins, and I found that this individual has such a strong connection with me. And as far as what her direction is and whatnot, I found such a strong alignment that I thought that I would interview this individual, find out more about what she has going on, and yeah, and go from there. So yes, welcome, Kitsy
Thank you.
Higgins.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
And yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity of speaking with you as well. I know that you interviewed me for your YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I want to find out a little bit more about you. Could you tell me about your backstory? Like what? Yeah, tell me about yourself. What do you like to do? What do you do for fun?
I used to do half marathons back in the day with my
Yeah,
grandmother. My grandma at the age of 74 was like, I think I'm going to do a half marathon at, at Walt Disney World. And I looked over at her and I said, Can I come? She said,
yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I'll pay for training, I'll pay for the trip. And I was like, Great, let's go.
What? That's
So
crazy.
it is. So I started doing half marathons with her. I did two. The one I trained, the second one I didn't really train that much. But I I noticed my body. I was overworking my body a lot. And I realized that I was pushing it really strong and that I had to relax and I had to just have those times where like my body could get taken care of because I was just working it so much. So I started going to massages, and this
Yeah,
lady
yeah,
was I found a massage therapist, and at the end she'd say, "Okay, I'm going to turn on my Reiki, and I'm going to
yeah,
go and start doing that for you." And I was like, "What are you doing?" And I started looking
yeah.
up. If anyone doesn't know, Reiki is a technique for relaxation and stress reduction.
Yes, I'm actually Reiki level one certified. No joke.
Yeah,
Side weird fact, but
yeah, that's awesome. So I'm
yeah,
I'm a Reiki master teacher. It was many years in the making, but I have probably like 20, 25 students. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
that's really what started my journey.
Uh-huh.
And my ex-husband or husband at the time, I mean, I've massively shifted over those years I was with him, from just kind of dabbling in this stuff to going to like Reiki circles to being a teacher and then becoming a psychic medium.
Yeah, yeah.
And then now I'm to the point I really followed through. I felt in my heart I had to offer Reiki to other people. And I saw how great it was for me. So I wanted to do it for other people. So that really shifted it. And over that time, I really I started a local business outside of Pittsburgh of readings
Right.
and Reiki, and it went really successful. So much so that I kind of saw the impact that we made locally. I saw the
Yeah.
impact how women were trusting themselves, how women were acknowledging their feelings, how women were feeling good about themselves and feeling good about their lives again. And I realized to myself, if I can make an impact in this small way, imagine what type of impact I can make throughout the world with my business. So I moved
Right.
it, so I moved it online 7 years ago, and I've been working on that, and it's been my passion project. And so it's been just
Awesome.
helping women really step into their feminine, step into um, just having a life that they love, and then also realizing their value and knowing their worth.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. But it's like 12 years condensed in 5 minutes.
Yes. No, no, no. That is perfect. What I know this is kind of off off the usual questions that we rehearsed pre-rehearsed about, but what successes, like what personal successes have you seen that have really inspired you more than any, like, what has fueled you to keep going for this amount of time more than anything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I mean, like I've had the business for 12 years. I was very successful. I made good money when I moved it online. So I know that there's potential. For me, what has kept me going is I did not speak for the first 8 years of my life. So
Okay,
because of
nice.
that, yeah, so because of that, I feel that I can kind of go after goals and I can go after and achieve things at a longer distance and at a longer span than most people, where maybe they had a speech impediment for 2 years, or maybe, they had a physical issue and they're a little kid for a year and a half. For me, having a goal that was 8 years of trying and putting in the work and going after a goal, to me, it's just I can really go after and try to obtain things at a much marathon pace, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. And now could you tell us a little bit more about exactly what you do with your business, what it entails, how exactly you impact your clients?
Yeah. So originally, when I did it local, I offered individual readings, which are psychic medium readings and then Reiki, which to me, I felt a level of judgment and I felt a level of um, like disappointment when people would be like, "Oh, I wanted to connect with this person." And to me, like just feeling those feelings of judgment and disappointment of me disappointing people and what they were hoping for just kind of got to me. And it wasn't, and I understand that, you got to be detached on who shows up. But I was just like, I was kind of getting tired of having people say that. Yet still, those readings were gorgeous, and still, those readings they connected with really strong. So
Mm-hmm.
to me,
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of got burnt out on that style of business or type of
Right.
business. So I kind of thought to myself, okay, if I'm going to be trying to help more people in the world, then that means I'm not going to have time to do individual readings. So I really had to figure out a way, or I had to kind of allow the universe to work through me to show me what the best way was and how to have a business where people can come to that at the time that they're meant to and at a time that's right for them. And it's not taking up my time because I've already done it. It already took up my time back in the past. So now I offer courses, and one course is reopening your third eye and intuition. Another one
Mhm.
is being whole, which is stepping into your feminine, stepping into your emotions, stepping, just merging the what is it, the brain side of you to your body, heart side of you that a
Mhm.
lot of
Mhm.
women have lost. And
Right.
then um, alignment, which is like alignment course of like getting into alignment with what feels right for you and getting into alignment with your goals and visions. And then I have a final one called Heal the World Academy, which is helping healers, local healers, move their business online. So it's a whole
Okay.
different, what is it called? It's a whole different type of script structure. So instead
Right.
of spending maybe an hour, 2 hours for a session, I'm spending that hour doing a video and then uploading it and doing that stuff. And all of these courses are divinely channeled. They're all, I ask spirit, like, what am I supposed to be talking about? And then I ask these questions of like, oh my gosh, like I want this in my life. How do I do this? And then it's like I get
Mhm.
these ideas and I get this inspiration. And then I
Mhm.
create a course on it. And it shifts my life in these amazing dramatic ways.
Nice. That is awesome. That is
Thank
so
you.
cool. Now in the next 5 years, where do you
Mhm.
see your business for yourself and for your clients? Do you have an idea, a vision for growth?
Yeah. So my goal or my vision, I just did that video. I don't know if you saw on, I felt like a failure on Friday. I was just like, my YouTube isn't where I want it to be. Like my courses isn't where I want to be. And the amount of money I'm
Mhm.
making isn't where I want it to be. So I really got, and I kind of look at emotions as their teachers. So it's like, okay, like I'm feeling like a failure. Like there must be things I'm missing, or there must be things that I'm doing that I'm not doing, that if I did
Mhm.
better, I could kind of get a different result. And I think it's also my inner being saying, listen, we're still not at that point. We still got to keep going.
Right, right,
so,
right, right.
um, so for me, what I see my goal for the next 5 years, and after that is just having a successful online business where there's people coming
Mhm.
into my courses at the time that's right for them. They're purchasing it no matter how much it costs, because investment on themselves is important. Self growth
Right.
is important.
Mhm.
Reconnecting with their feminine being is important.
Right.
And then just having a successful YouTube channel where same thing, where people are, I'm creating a large value, or I'm creating value in a sense that I have a large following and that they want to be taught by me because they connect and they feel and they my advice or guidance or insights are shifting their life for the better.
Right. Nice. Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. And
That's my goal.
I know that you've struggled as far as where your growth is. You're a fairly newer company and whatnot, but I'm sure that you have a great piece of wisdom to offer anyone who is willing to change the world. What advice do you have to any new entrepreneurs that are either in the industry or just in any industry individually? What piece of advice do you have?
I think there's two, which is starting a business is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Right.
So, it's overnight. The second is an overnight, what is it? Overnight success takes 7 years to achieve.
Right. Right.
So it's like these people are like, oh my God, like I'm gonna have to be an overnight success. And it's a weekend.
Hmm.
Yeah, it takes years to get to that place. Like I went to the Imagine Dragons concert this year,
Hmm.
and like so famous, so well known. And he said that they just had failure after failure after failure, and they just kept
Right.
going and they did not stop.
Hmm.
And I could really relate to that. And I was just like, oh my God, he's talking to me.
Yes.
Like he connected with me at such a deep level. That was really amazing. Because it's just, and for him, for a man like that, and for them to have the success that they have, to have said that, they've just had so much failure, it gave
Hmm.
me hope of like, okay, like if I keep going, if I keep dealing with this F word, that yeah, I could have a large audience like they have. And it's just
Hmm.
I gotta keep getting into alignment with my vision. And who I was 7 years ago is not who I am today. And my mom just said, she's like, you have grown so much over these years. And I feel like just this past month, I've really gotten secure. So I've been an insecure person for decades. I've accepted crap. I've given my body away like it's free money, or
Hmm.
free sexual object, to be bluntly honest. And I'm finally now like, no, like I'm worthy and deserving of a great man, and that treats me with just pure kindness and honors me and honors my heart and honors my soul. And that so coming from, and then like accepting just men that just ignored me and didn't pay attention or give me the priority type of feelings that I wanted. So coming
Hmm.
from that, from high school all the way to now, I feel like I may I share with you what happened a few weeks ago?
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So what
Absolutely.
I've learned is we have the one of the biggest things that we need to do is to reconnect with our inner child. And reconnecting with our inner child, we have to see what that relationship was like when we were younger and to figure out what it was missing and then to give it to them. So
Hmm.
I hug it and I tell her I love her and I feel the love and it like just goes, it goes out. It shimmers and radiates. And then listening to her and validating her. But because I didn't speak for the first 8 years, I couldn't stand up for myself. And this guy, I won't get into it that much, but he really triggered me. And I would say, like, may I share something with you? And he wouldn't say something. Then I would say, may I have a phone call? And he wouldn't say something or he would cancel. And I felt like it really put me in a corner. And I was like, I'm literally in a corner. I feel like I can't express what I want to feel. And I want to like tell him. And so I texted him probably a way too long message. I should have voice texted it. And I expressed my feelings and I expressed my needs and I expressed what my brain was saying and I asked for help. And after I did that, I was like crying and feeling so proud of myself because I felt I was like that little girl being stuck in a corner where I couldn't express my emotions. And then I was able to finally do it. And that feeling of feeling proud was just like that it was like 2000%. And then my
Hmm.
son came upstairs because I was crying loudly and he's like, "What do you need, mom? What do you need?" And I said, "I just need hugged." And I told him that I felt like a piece of me was leaving. I felt like a piece of me had finally gotten what she had always craved and had always wanted, being validated, being heard, feeling loved, being stood up for when stuck in a corner. And so I feel like I hit that. I hit all of it. And my son said, "Embrace the new you, mom. Embrace the new you."
Yeah.
And I thought that that was so powerful. And since then, I just feel like this level of confidence. I feel this level of I'm so vulnerable. I'm just a vulnerable person. I'm I, I'm in dating and I have my heart out. So I have standards, I have boundaries, but I also have my heart out. So it's essentially that if a guy also has his heart out, it's just going to be immediate. But I have the boundaries up so that they can't. So not everyone can just get through. But
Right.
So I'm doing life differently than probably a lot of people would be.
Hmm.
And I'm doing life that is what feels right for me, which might not feel right for other people. And I have to keep going. I've already lost myself once in this life,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna do my best to continue to embrace the new me, as my son said, and to be that person that people are like, she lives this way or she lives that way or whatever. Because one, if I offer courses like this, I have to be that person. But two is just
Hmm.
I have to live my life on my own terms.
Hmm.
And if that's different the most, then that's different the most. Can you relate?
Oh, I can absolutely relate on so many levels. I was
Yeah.
actually thinking that while you were talking to me. And yeah, wow. I Up until recently, I have had quite the past. Actually, some of the stuff that's inspired me to start the experiment was a lot of the abuse and neglect growing up on my own, and that has actually affected me deep into my adulthood. Up until recently, I have picked the wrong individuals for me. At first, I picked them just because I was happy that somebody picked me. I was so insecure. I just thought, hey, this person has a pulse. Cool, let's go out. Let's see what could go wrong, and then everything has
Good way
gone
of looking at
wrong.
it.
And then I went through I hate to say it, my man whore phases where I just gave myself up, and I had
Mhm.
feelings for people that would never have feelings for me, and I knew it in hopes that we would develop into something, and it never has. And I could feel you so strongly, and it's something that more men and women, more men, you hear a lot about it from, women, but more men should definitely speak up about that as well, because it hurts on every end of the aspect. Whenever all you really want is your best friend, and you find something meaningless time and time again, and it really impacts your self-esteem even more so, right? You had you had your own past, and only to find that continuing into your adulthood just hurts even that much more. But the fact that you have found your own, and the fact that you are helping other women, even though you say that you're, almost where you want to be, like, that is huge, huge. To me, I mean, life is about showing up. I think earlier today, we were going to do this interview earlier today, and it's something that I've struggled with, is just showing up, doing my whole thing. I thought I'm not masculine enough, or not masculine, not muscular enough, not this enough, not that. And there's so many voices in your head that are telling you what not to do to pursue what you want to do. And the fact that you're
Mhm.
doing it is huge. And I feel like you're on the right path. I feel from the outside looking in, we've
Oh,
only
thank you.
talked a few times, but I can really, just from the time that we've talked, I know that you're definitely on the right path. You're going to meet that person someday, the
Thank you.
right person.
Yeah.
And it's huge. Rome was not built in a day, so
No.
that's a huge piece of advice that,
I hate that. I hate that advice, but I get it. No, I totally.
yeah,
I
yeah,
and
yeah.
when I first started my local business, it was like spirit, like what's the message I'm meant to learn today? And it was like
Hmm.
every day Rome wasn't built in a day, and the next day,
Hmm.
what's the
Hmm.
message? Rome's not built. What I'm learning though is one time I took this course or this workshop with this woman, and she's like, write out all of the characteristics that you need to achieve this goal. And I
Hmm.
probably wrote out like 20 beliefs and characteristics. And I go back to that list and it's literally like check off, check off, check off, check off. And it's like there's
Hmm.
probably like almost 17 that I've checked off. So it's like it was hard because I had to create my business accomplishments. I was like, okay, I'm feeling like a failure. Let's look at what I've
Hmm.
accomplished so far in my business. And it was hard because it's like, oh, well, I want to go and look at the personal things I've accomplished because I've accomplished so much and as as a personal development side. But it's like,
Hmm.
no, because I still feel that there's two kind of different things. But like with the personal development, like there's been so much stuff I've achieved, like just inner peace.
Hmm.
I've experienced feeling secure in my body and having that great relationship with my inner being. And it's very interesting to one is knowing like, oh my God, like for me to achieve this, I have to like shift to a whole other being, which is taking me years in the making, almost like
Yeah.
decades in the making. So
Right.
but it's true. Like, I mean, kind of the bigger your goal or the bigger your dream or your vision, the more you do have to shift depending on where you're coming from. My ex-husband
Hmm.
abruptly left 4 years ago, and which is for the best. We're just friends, we're co-parents, and I was left at like the lowest of the low time. So that had already been like 3 years of being told no constantly by people. And
Hmm.
so I've really went from like coming into the online business to being like successful, being like, okay, I'm just gonna keep going up. But then it was like, no, it was like going down, sinking down. And then
Right. Right.
now it's been the journey going back up the last 4 years. And
Hmm.
so it's a very, you just think like, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna have this online business and you're just gonna propel. But
Right. Right.
there's a very there was a small hill slope up.
Hmm.
And I just now see myself working my way back up and seeing myself, I realized to myself, I think almost any famous person, if they want success, they don't have to be, but it's best that they are secure within themselves. And so it's interesting
Absolutely.
that, I think once you do become secure in yourself, it's kind of the sky's the limit. I feel, if you look at anyone famous, it's uh, though they might be still insecure in some ways, but they've kind of worked through their insecurities and they're secure within themselves. So all of that kind of judgment and all those people naysayers are just like, "Nah."
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
guess kind of getting secure with my vision, that is kind of maybe a puzzle piece to that end result of what I desire.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Can I offer a piece of advice that I
Yeah,
have learned that just well, a lot of people say, where do you envision yourself a year from now?
right.
And you have, let's say, this is just a pure mathematical example. Let's say you want to make $100,000 by this time next year. So you focus, yeah, I'm going to make $100,000, and this, it can be applied to anything, not just monetarily. But I want to reach X goal by this time next year. You think, cool, I'm going to work towards that goal, and it seems like a whole big thing that you need to achieve in a year. And they always say, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Well, I've learned that if you reverse engineer or reverse brainstorm from that point, so cool, you want to
Um,
meet $100,000 by next year at this time, 3 months from now, you're going to need $25,000. And then 6 months from now, 50,000. And that seems a little bit easier to obtain than
yeah.
just the whole goal by
Budget
the end of the
around it,
year.
yeah. What's interesting with my business and what I've learned is I have to be ultimately, which I don't know if you can relate to this too, or like if this is kind of part of your business too,
Right.
is I have to be detached from the outcome. And that's like a huge part of being feminine and having a feminine
Yeah.
business is that you have to be detached from the outcome. So it's like, okay, I
Mhm.
have a goal of making 40,000 this year through my business. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to do these 7 things over the year and hope to
Yeah.
make that amount. And then I got to trust and hope that I make that money. But then I have to
Mhm.
be detached from it because I might make that money through people donating clothes to me. I might make that
Mhm.
money through people maybe getting other business ideas that I never thought about going after. Or
Right. Right.
what else? I get that money from, other businesses or a family member, or inheritance, or something like that, where it's like you weren't expecting it. But that's the other part too, is it's like, especially during the birth phase of a new business, you it's like, okay, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to bring in this money. And then you have no clue if it's going to come through there or how it's going to show up. And you just have to be
Mhm. Mhm.
detached of what's going to come.
Right.
So it's
Right.
kind of, I feel frustration sometimes because it's like, "Ugh, why can't we just achieve what we get?" But I also know that it's all divine timing and it's all, that
Mhm. Mhm.
whole experience of trusting the universe or God or whatever piece that is.
Mhm. Oh, I get it. 100%. 100%. But now, how can individuals that are interested in receiving help from you and your services, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah. So I have a YouTube channel, which is actually I'm starting to. I recently heard that if a YouTube channel has low numbers and I start doing these other new videos, should we start a new channel or not? And the guy said, yeah, let go of the old baggage and just start new. And I was like, amen.
Mm.
So my main one is Kitsy Higgins, which is psychic medium and coach. But I'm starting a new one called Kitsy, Your Fairy Godmother, because I want to create value and help women just succeed at what they want and what they desire, and just a great, amazing life. So I'm
Mhm.
going to do that, and then I have my website, which is beginmydreamlife.com.
Mhm.
And then what else is there? I'm on Facebook too for Kitsy Higgins.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me here. And I
Thank
will
you.
post your contact information on the comment section
Thank you. I
on
appreciate
my
that.
YouTube channel. And but yeah, it was awesome talking to you as always. And you are an inspiration. And I
Well,
know
thank
on a personal level, from a few times that we have talked, you have always, I love your energy. I love how enthusiastic you are for life in general. And it is so
you.
awesome to meet another individual who is not only an entrepreneur, I can't, God, I'm all tongue twisted,
Oh, you're
entrepreneur, but
good.
someone who
Yeah.
is focused on changing the life for the better for the world around us. That
Yeah.
is huge. That's the
Yeah.
main reason why I reached out to you to
Yeah.
interview you.
Well, thank you so much. And it's that whole belief of you can't heal other people until you heal yourself.
Right, right, right. That's awesome.
So
Yeah,
still in the process of healing myself.
yeah,
But it's
absolutely.
done. Do I have an ending period at some point? No.
Yes, yes, yeah. One of my friends, Jake Pardon, who actually has his own business, he said a long time ago, and it really kind of blew my mind because whenever I first started going on camera, I was like, you're nervous, it's like, oh, what do I say? And he said that if you talk to others as if you're talking to yourself, you're coaching yourself, it changes your whole mindset. And that blew me away.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, my one
yeah,
friend said that. She was like, "What would you say to yourself?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So that
mhm,
is probably what she's talking about.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
And
Yeah.
it really, yeah, that impacted me hugely, hugely.
Yeah.
And,
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. I very much appreciate it, and I
oh, thank
appreciate all
you.
your time and getting to have the opportunity to connect with you and your audience. Thank you for your kind words.
Oh, and thank you once again. And take care.
Yes, you too. Thank you.